The stars shimmered coldly above the vast council station, a colossal structure floating silently in the void. Ships of every shape and color glided past, leaving faint trails of light behind them. The Galaxy Council, the most powerful assembly in the known universe, was about to witness a day it would never forget. In the heart of the station, the main chamber buzzed with activity. Alien delegates filled the massive circular hall. Some had 4 eyes, some had scales, some seemed like floating clouds of energy. They murmured quietly to one another, their voices blending into a low hum that filled the hall like a living creature. Today, however, a new presence would overshadow them all. A fleet of human ships approached the station. Sleek, angular, and painted in deep black with glowing blue engines, they moved with precision, as if every pilot and every maneuver had been rehearsed countless times. The council members watched with curiosity and a touch of unease. Humans had always been unpredictable, but today they carried something different, a confidence bordering on defiance. Admiral Celine Trask, humanity's envoy to the council, stood on the bridge of the lead ship. Her eyes scanned the vast expanse of the chamber before docking. She adjusted her uniform and cleared her throat. Today the humans would make their presence felt, not just as ambassadors, but as a force the galaxy could no longer ignore. Inside the council chamber, murmurs grew louder as the fleet approached the docking bay. One alien delegate whispered to another, "They never come empty-handed." His voice carried a chill, as if he had seen this before, though none present knew what he meant. The humans entered the chamber. Trask led her delegation down the grand aisle, her boots echoing against the polished floor. The aliens watched silently. The humans did not bow. They did not smile. There was no greeting, only intent. Council Speaker Velnar, a tall being with shifting colors on his skin, rose to address them. "Welcome, humans. We trust your journey was uneventful." His voice was calm, but his 4 eyes flickered with caution. Trask inclined her head slightly. "Thank you, Speaker. We are here with a proposal. And a warning." Her words hung in the air like a blade. A murmur spread across the chamber. "A warning?" Someone hissed. The humans moved to the center of the chamber, where a large holographic display activated, showing star systems and strategic points across the galaxy. The council leaned in. Trask continued, "For decades we have tried diplomacy. For decades we have negotiated, compromised, and begged for fairness. Today, that ends. Humanity will no longer accept threats to our sovereignty. We are ready to act." Gasps erupted among the council. A small alien with glimmering wings flitted closer. "Act? What do you mean by act?" it asked nervously. Trask's lips curved into a small, cold smile. "You will see." Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the chamber. The holographic display shifted to reveal a massive ship hidden behind the human fleet. It was unlike anything the council had seen before, towering, black, with an ominous hum vibrating through the chamber walls. "What is that?" Velnar demanded, his voice tight with fear. Trask's eyes scanned the council floor. "A reminder that peace is a choice, and choices have consequences." The chamber went silent. Even the murmuring stopped. Every delegate could feel the tension in the air, thick and suffocating. The humans had not only arrived, they had made it clear that they would not bend to council rules or alien expectations. They had brought power, and the galaxy was about to witness it. In a corner, a small aide hurried to Velnar's side, whispering frantically. The council had sensors, dozens of them, but this ship had been hidden. How had humanity done this, and why? The questions were endless, but no one dared speak them aloud. As Trask turned to leave, she paused for a moment. "This is only the beginning," she said softly. "The galaxy will learn, whether through peace or through force." The humans exited the chamber, leaving behind a stunned assembly. The whispers grew louder, fear and speculation blending into a cacophony. Some argued for immediate retaliation. Others suggested restraint, but all knew the balance of power had shifted. Humanity had crossed a line that no one expected, and the council would never be the same again. Outside, the stars shone as usual, indifferent to the turmoil below. But inside the council chamber, history had been rewritten. The humans had arrived, and with them came uncertainty, fear, and the first spark of chaos that would engulf the galaxy. And in the shadows of the docking bay, a single message blinked on a forgotten console. They are not here for peace, not anymore. The council chamber had not yet recovered from humanity's bold arrival. Aliens whispered urgently in corners, their voices thick with fear. Some glanced nervously at the humans, who now stood calmly near the center of the hall, their posture rigid, unyielding. It was clear. Humanity had come to change the rules. Speaker Velnar slammed his clawed hands on the polished floor. "Humanity," he said, his voice echoing through the vast chamber. "The Council exists to maintain peace. Threats and weapons will not be tolerated here. We expected diplomacy, not—" This Admiral Trask did not flinch. Her eyes scanned the assembly. "Diplomacy has failed, Speaker," she said evenly. "For years the Council has ignored our warnings. Human colonies have been attacked. Our requests for fairness and protection dismissed. We are patient no longer." A murmur ran through the crowd. Some aliens paled. Others whispered urgently to their neighbors. "What does she mean? Have humans really prepared for war?" Velnar's four eyes narrowed. "This council has rules, humans. You cannot simply decide when you follow them and when you do not." Trask's lips tightened. "We are no longer bound by your rules. If the council cannot protect its members, it cannot demand loyalty, and humanity will survive by any means necessary." The chamber was thick with tension. Even the air seemed heavier. Some delegates quietly began to move towards the exits, sensing that the next moments could ignite chaos. At that moment, the humans activated another holographic display. It showed several star systems, neutral planets rich in resources, long promised to alien coalitions. Lines of light traced routes to these worlds. "This is a map of the territories we intend to claim," Trask announced. "Any attempt to challenge our actions will be met with force." "Negotiations are over." Shock rippled through the council. An elder alien covered in crystalline armor hissed, "You cannot do this. These planets belong to the collective." Trask's gaze did not waver. Belonging is meaningless without power to enforce it. "We have that power. The council will see. Peace is a choice, and we have chosen differently." Some council members whispered about retaliation, but fear held most frozen. Humanity's fleet loomed outside the station like a dark promise, and their words carried the weight of inevitability. In the shadows, a small group of delegates huddled together. "We need a plan," one of them whispered. "If we oppose them openly, the humans could destroy everything in this chamber and more." Another shook its head. "We underestimated them. We thought humans valued negotiation, diplomacy. Perhaps we were wrong. Perhaps they never cared for peace at all." Trask observed the whispers silently. Inside, she allowed herself a fleeting thought. The council was panicking exactly as she had predicted. Chaos could be a weapon as sharp as any fleet or cannon. Suddenly, the chamber shuddered. Sensors blared warnings. A hidden system had detected unusual energy fluctuations near the docking bay. Trask did not move, but the human aides exchanged a glance confirming that their secret weapon was active, though no one yet knew what it could do. One alien delegate dared to step forward. "Humanity, you have brought destruction here. Why abandon peace?" Trask's eyes narrowed. "Because peace without respect is meaningless. We have tried reasoning, compromise, and negotiation. And what has it brought us? Weakness, vulnerability, loss no longer." The council gasped collectively. Another species, a small, glowing orb, emitted a high-pitched shriek. "This is madness." "You will destroy everything?" Trask's voice was calm but firm. "We will destroy nothing yet. But the galaxy will learn that humanity no longer waits for permission. Choose wisely." At that moment, the lights flickered. The chamber shook again, stronger this time. A low hum resonated through the floors and walls. Panic spread like wildfire. Delegates backed away from their seats. Some shouted in terror. Others tried to contact their homeworlds, only to find communications jammed. Trask turned to her aides, who had activated the system remotely. "Let them feel the fear of uncertainty," she whispered. "Let them see that we are serious." The council chamber descended into chaos. Shouts, alarms, and whispers merged into a single roar of panic. Some delegates tried to negotiate anew, but their words fell on deaf ears. Humanity's stance was clear, unyielding and impossible to ignore. In the corner, a lone aide typed a message frantically on a console. The humans have crossed the line. All preparations for counteraction must begin immediately. But it was too late. The Council had already seen what had arrived. The humans had shattered the illusion of order, leaving only uncertainty, fear, and a single undeniable truth. Diplomacy was broken, and the galaxy would never be the same again. As the chamber slowly regained its senses, whispers spread of secret meetings among the alien factions. Some would resist openly, others would plot in silence, and all would remember the moment when humanity had turned its back on peace, shattering the Council and beginning a chain of events that would echo through the stars. And somewhere in the shadows of the docking bay, the hidden weapon hummed quietly, as if waiting for the perfect moment to remind the galaxy that humans no longer asked for permission. The Council chamber was still reeling from humanity's bold declarations. Delegates whispered frantically to each other, some pacing, some staring at their consoles in disbelief. Humanity's sudden rejection of diplomacy had left a mark deeper than any weapon could. Admiral Trask stood at the center, her posture calm, almost serene. Behind her, a new holographic display blinked to life. This time, it showed something far more frightening than territorial claims. A massive, intricate ship design unlike anything seen in the galaxy. The Council members leaned forward, their multiple eyes widening. The ship was enormous, far larger than any human vessel previously recorded. Its structure was jagged and black, with glowing lines of energy pulsing along its hull like veins. On the display, small drones swarmed around it, their movements precise and deadly. A crystalline delegate hissed in alarm. What is this? Some kind of weapon? Trask's voice was steady. It is no ordinary weapon. It is a statement. Another delegate, glowing faintly in a blue aura, floated closer to the hologram. A statement? Explain yourself, human. What is its purpose? Trask turned slowly, her eyes scanning the chamber. For decades, humanity has begged for fairness, for protection, for recognition of our rights. The Council ignored us. Our colonies were attacked, our warnings dismissed. This vessel is the consequence of your failure. Whispers erupted across the room. Some delegates tried to calm themselves, telling each other it might be bluff. Others instinctively began to back away, realizing that bluff or not, the sheer scale of the ship suggested that humans were prepared for war on a galactic scale. A small, winged alien stepped forward. And you expect us to surrender to this? It gestured at the hologram. We are 100 worlds strong. You cannot threaten the Council alone. Trask's lips curved slightly. We do not act alone. But make no mistake, our fleet is capable of devastating any threat that stands in our path. We did not arrive to negotiate terms of peace. We arrived to remind the galaxy that humans are no longer to be underestimated. Suddenly, the chamber lights flickered and alarms blared. Sensors detected energy surges from the docking bay. Humans had activated the vessel remotely. The Council froze. Nobody knew what it could do yet, but the anticipation alone was enough to create panic. One aide whispered to Speaker Velnar, "They've hidden its capabilities. They could destroy this chamber if they wanted." Velnar's four eyes narrowed. "We must remain calm. We must not show fear." But even as he spoke, he could feel the weight of uncertainty pressing down on him. This was more than a challenge. It was a test of survival. Trask stepped forward again, her voice firm. "Observe, Council members. This vessel is capable of neutralizing entire fleets without direct combat. Its power is precise, surgical. We did not build it to kill indiscriminately, but to enforce what words could not. The galaxy has had decades to respect humanity, and humanity has had enough of waiting." The chamber erupted into chaos. Delegates shouted at one another, some calling for immediate action, others pleading for restraint. Hidden alliances began to form in whispers. Some species plotted secretly to sabotage human systems. Others considered retreat, knowing they could not face the unknown power fully. In a dim corner, a small group of human aides whispered to Trask, "The Council suspects the vessel's true capabilities. Shall we show them a demonstration?" Trask shook her head. "Not yet. Fear is more powerful than destruction at this moment. Let them imagine the possibilities. Let them tremble in uncertainty. That is our advantage." Meanwhile, a young alien scholar, an advisor to several smaller species, typed furiously on a console trying to hack into the human systems. If we can just see its weapon logs, understand the technology. Perhaps we can counter it? But the system resisted every attempt. The humans had anticipated this. Their security was absolute. One older delegate, whose skin shimmered like molten metal, addressed the chamber. We must act. If humans are prepared to abandon diplomacy and bring such power into this hall, they will not stop with words. They will strike. Trask's eyes flicked toward him, and her expression was calm yet unnerving. Strike, perhaps. Or perhaps you will find that striking is impossible until it is far too late. We have revealed only the tip of our capabilities. You cannot guess the rest. The tension in the room was unbearable. Delegates could feel the weight of humanity's decision pressing down on them. The galaxy, long used to balance and negotiation, was suddenly confronted with a force that operated by its own rules. Finally, Trask turned and looked toward the exit, signaling the human delegation to follow. This is your warning, she said softly but clearly. Consider carefully the choices you make. Humanity no longer waits for permission. The future of the galaxy depends on your next decisions. But know this, the outcome favors those who act decisively. Hesitate, and you may lose everything. As the humans left the chamber, the alien delegates remained in stunned silence. Some frantically sent messages to their homeworlds. Others began secret meetings in hidden corridors. Every mind present grappled with a single terrifying thought. Humanity had unveiled its secret, and nothing would ever be the same again. In the shadows of the docking bay, the vessel hummed with quiet energy. Its lights pulsed steadily as if alive, waiting for the day it would be unleashed fully. Somewhere deep within its core, systems whispered of power beyond imagination, of secrets too dangerous for the galaxy to comprehend. And one final message blinked silently on a concealed console, visible only to those who knew to look. We are not here for peace. Not now, not ever. The Council had seen the secret. The galaxy had felt the first tremors of fear, and somewhere, far beyond the chamber, humanity prepared its next move, calculated, unstoppable, and shrouded in mystery. The Council chamber was still in shock from humanity's revelation. Delegates whispered and debated, but uncertainty gripped them all. Humanity had shown its secret weapon, and now the question on every mind was the same. What would they do next? Outside the Council station, the human fleet shifted quietly. Sleek black ships lined the docking bay, their engines humming with controlled power. Admiral Trask observed the operation from her flagship, her eyes cold and calculating. This was the moment the Council would remember forever, the moment humanity proved it would no longer wait for permission. Inside the Council, panic had begun to spread like wildfire. Smaller species called for emergency votes. Larger factions prepared their fleets for a defensive strike. Communications were buzzing constantly, some delegates screaming over channels, others pleading for calm, but fear drowned reason. Humanity had shattered the illusion of control, and now every delegate wondered how far the humans would go. Trask addressed her aides. "Initiate the test," she said softly. "Not full deployment, just enough to demonstrate intent." A low hum began in the docking bay. Sensors across the station detected massive energy fluctuations. Outside the station, a human ship slowly emerged from the shadows, positioning itself near a neutral planet long claimed by the Council. The planet's atmosphere shimmered under the ship's presence, as though the planet itself sensed danger. The Council gasped as the planet's surface erupted in a controlled energy wave. No lives were lost yet, but the display of precision and power was undeniable. Mountains trembled, oceans shifted, entire cities, abandoned centuries ago, were flattened with surgical accuracy. Humanity's message was clear. They could strike anywhere, anytime, with devastating effect. Speaker Velnar's four eyes widened. This is unacceptable. How can a single species wield such power? Trask's voice came over the comms, calm and unwavering. Power does not come from approval, Speaker. It comes from preparation, will, and the courage to act when others hesitate. The chamber erupted into chaos. Delegates shouted over one another. Some called for immediate countermeasures. Others suggested retreat, fearing that any engagement could lead to destruction. In the shadows, secret alliances began to form. Several alien factions whispered urgently, planning how to counter humanity's threat. Yet fear kept them paralyzed. Humanity had shown that hesitation could be fatal. Meanwhile, a small group of humans, liaisons, scientists, and tacticians, monitored the Council's reaction. They observed panic, confusion, and whispers of rebellion. Trask allowed herself a slight smile. Chaos, carefully orchestrated, was a tool as sharp as any weapon. Back on the Council station, an aide rushed to Velnar. They've only demonstrated their power on an uninhabited planet. What if they target a populated world next? Or a military fleet? Velnar's voice trembled. Then we are at their mercy. But we cannot show fear. We must strategize. If we act recklessly, we will lose everything. Trask watched all of this unfold with quiet satisfaction. Humanity had made its stance clear. Negotiation was over. Those who doubted would learn quickly. Those who hesitated could suffer the consequences. And yet the humans had not fired a single shot at life. Yet, the threat alone was enough to bend the Council to attention. In the docking bay, the hidden weapon pulsed with energy. Drones swirled around it, scanning and analyzing. It was more than a tool of war. It was a statement. Humanity had the capability to end conflicts before they began, to force decisions without shedding unnecessary blood. A communication alert flashed on Trask's console. One of the smaller human ships had detected Council fleets mobilizing. Trask gave a simple order: stand down. Let them move. Let them react. We observe. Across the Council, fleets were preparing for battle. Commands were shouted. Energy shields powered up. Alien weapons systems hummed. Every delegate was aware of the humans' test. The demonstration had left no room for doubt about the consequences of aggression. And then, in the Council chamber, a strange silence fell. A small aide pointed at the monitoring system, whispering urgently, "Admiral, the humans have targeted a second planet. Coordinates unknown. Energy signature rising?" Velnar's voice shook. "They are escalating. This is no longer a demonstration. They are testing our reactions, calculating our fear." Trask observed silently, knowing the Council would now begin to understand what she had long known. Power without hesitation was terrifying. The first strike had been precise, controlled, and calculated to instill fear without causing irreversible destruction. The lesson was clear. Humanity would act with precision, but only when necessary. In the shadows of the docking bay, a single console blinked with a message: observe, learn, prepare for the inevitable. The Council delegates watched in stunned silence as the humans' intentions became painfully clear. Diplomacy was over. Hesitation was dangerous. And humanity's first strike, though not a full attack, had set the stage for chaos that would ripple across the galaxy. Trask finally allowed herself a deep breath. Humanity had shown its strength. The Council had felt its presence, and the galaxy would never again underestimate the species that had decided to stop waiting and start acting. And somewhere, in the quiet darkness of space, the humans prepared for what came next, calculated, unstoppable, and cloaked in the tension of fear and uncertainty. The Council station was alive with tension. The first strike had left its mark. Fear lingered in the air like a living thing. Delegates whispered urgently, plotting in corners, forming secret alliances, and questioning loyalties. Humanity had forced the galaxy to confront an uncomfortable truth. Negotiation alone could no longer protect anyone. Admiral Trask watched the Council through her monitors. Every move, every whispered conversation was an opportunity. Chaos was a tool, but only if used wisely. She allowed herself a faint smile. The Council had begun to fracture, and small divisions could become wide chasms if handled carefully. In the Council chambers, a coalition of alien delegates convened in secret. The crystalline elder spoke first, voice harsh and urgent. "Humanity's actions have left us no choice. If we do not form a united front, they will pick us apart individually." A smaller, winged species nodded. "Agreed, but can we trust each other? Even now, we do not know who among us has sympathies for humanity. Or worse, spies among us." From the shadows, a glimmering orb whispered, "Trust is a weakness. Humanity has none, and neither should we. But alliances are necessary to survive." While the Council delegates plotted, not all humans acted as a single unit. A small faction within Trask's own command began questioning her orders. They had watched the Council closely, and realize the potential for unnecessary destruction. One aide whispered to another, "Are we pushing too far? Is it time to intervene and prevent bloodshed?" Trask sensed the murmurs of dissent but did not turn. She understood the value of internal tension. Even loyalty could be tested, and true allegiance would reveal itself when the stakes were highest. Meanwhile, Council fleets began to mobilize quietly. Smaller species offered ships to larger factions, creating a patchwork armada designed to challenge humanity if necessary. But coordination was poor. Suspicion and mistrust slowed every plan. The humans had already anticipated this. The seeds of distrust were already taking root. In a hidden corridor, a small alien delegation contacted one of Trask's aides. "We wish to offer our support," the alien whispered nervously. "We do not agree with humanity's methods, but we recognize their strength. Perhaps we can avoid unnecessary deaths if we cooperate." Trask's eyes gleamed. "Very well," she said. "But loyalty is earned through action, not words. You will follow instructions without hesitation, or there will be consequences." The Council's internal fractures widened. Some species openly considered betrayal. Others debated whether to secretly aid humanity to secure their survival. Every decision was shadowed by fear and uncertainty. Humanity had demonstrated a simple truth: hesitation could be deadly. Back on the human flagship, Trask addressed her aides. "Watch for traitors. Watch for alliances that form too quickly. The Council is already divided. All we need to do is guide the outcome carefully. Influence, not destruction, will serve our purpose best. For now." A young human officer spoke up, voice tinged with worry. "Admiral, some Council members are already conspiring to counter us. Should we strike before they act?" Trask shook her head. "No, striking too soon will unite them. Let the fear grow. Let the alliances form, but ensure they are fragile. When the time comes, their mistrust will make them fall apart faster than any weapon could." Meanwhile, a traitor emerged from the Council itself. A minor alien species seeking favor and protection secretly contacted humanity. Its representative promised to reveal secret fleet movements in exchange for guaranteed survival and technology. Trask's eyes narrowed as she received the information. It was exactly the opportunity she had anticipated. "Good," she whispered to herself. "The seeds of betrayal are already sprouting." The Council, unaware of the traitor within, continued to argue and strategize. Some factions proposed open confrontation. Others suggested surrender or negotiation. The tension grew until it was almost unbearable, and even the calmest delegates could feel the weight of imminent catastrophe. In the shadows of the station, the hidden human weapon pulsed quietly. Its energy resonated through the docking bays, a silent reminder that the humans were prepared for any challenge. The Council had only seen a fraction of its power, yet even that had been enough to instill fear. As night fell over the station, small skirmishes of diplomacy and espionage began. Alliances shifted overnight. The humans observed quietly, guiding, nudging, and testing the limits of loyalty. Every whisper, every secret meeting, every hesitation was a lesson in control. Finally, Trask addressed her aides once more. "Humanity does not need to fight every battle. Influence and fear are weapons just as deadly as fleets and cannons. Remember this: every decision the Council makes is already part of the plan. We will shape the galaxy without firing a shot, if they allow us to." And in the Council chambers, the whispers of allies and traitors grew louder. The galaxy was teetering on the edge, divided by fear, uncertainty, and ambition. Humanity had turned the Council upside down, and the consequences of this manipulation were only beginning to show. Somewhere in the shadows, a Council aide gasped as they realized the truth. Humanity had not merely arrived, they had already planted the seeds of chaos, and every action moving forward would be colored by suspicion, fear, and the knowledge that the humans were in control of the narrative. Tension gripped the Council station like a vice. Whispers, urgent footsteps, and the constant hum of energy filled the corridors. The Council had tried to recover from humanity's first strike and the revelations of their secret weapon. But fear had taken root, and suspicion poisoned every alliance. Speaker Velnar stood at the center of the chamber, flanked by the most powerful delegates. His 4 eyes swept the room, seeking reassurance, strategy, or hope, but finding none. "The humans have shown us their strength," he admitted, voice heavy. "If we act recklessly, we risk annihilation. But if we do nothing, we risk submission. We must act carefully and decisively." Trask watched the Council's movements from her flagship, calm as always. She could see the fleets mobilizing, the secret meetings, the whispered betrayals. Humanity had forced the galaxy into a single stark choice: act or be crushed by indecision. In the Council chamber, a plan had formed. A coalition of species would attempt to disable humanity's weapon using a coordinated strike from multiple fleets. Small, fast ships would infiltrate the docking bays, while heavier cruisers targeted energy conduits. If successful, the humans' advantage could be neutralized, but the plan was fragile. Communication between factions was slow, trust was low, and fear of betrayal hung over every decision. Even as the Council finalized their strategy, some members prepared secret escape plans, unwilling to risk full engagement. Trask received word of the Coalition's plan. She did not panic. Instead, she smiled faintly. Every hesitation, every doubt, every mistrust had been anticipated. Humans had prepared for this scenario. Their fleets adjusted silently, hiding among asteroids and shadows, waiting for the Council to make the first move. The Council's strike began with precision, yet almost immediately, confusion spread. Sensors detected unexpected obstacles, decoys, hidden shields, and automated drones. Humanity had anticipated the Coalition's tactics down to the smallest detail. The first wave faltered, and a ripple of panic passed through the attacking fleets. Velnar's voice was strained over communications. "Stay focused. Follow the plan." But his words carried little comfort. Ships slowed, hesitated, and small mistakes began to accumulate. Humanity's strategy relied on their patience and discipline, while the Council struggled against fear and mistrust. Trask observed silently. "Let them see how indecision looks," she said. "Chaos is more effective than force when properly applied." Meanwhile, within the docking bay, small human teams moved swiftly. They repaired systems, repositioned defenses, and prepared contingency measures. Every action was calculated, anticipating the Council's next move. Humanity's calm contrasted sharply with the Council's frenzy, further unsettling their adversaries. The first major confrontation came when a Coalition cruiser approached the weapon's core. Automated defense drones activated, striking with surgical precision. The cruiser was disabled without significant collateral damage, but the effect on the Council was profound. Panic turned to fear. Humanity had the power to defend themselves, and they did so effortlessly. Velnar realized the grim truth. The Council's last chance to control humanity was failing. Hesitation had cost them the advantage. Now survival depended on quick thinking and unity, but unity was a fleeting illusion. The alien factions' distrust and internal rivalries made coordination nearly impossible. Trask sent a simple message to the Council. "You have a choice. Retreat, negotiate on our terms, or risk total destruction. Choose wisely." The message spread like wildfire, igniting debates and arguments across the chamber. Some factions advocated surrender, hoping to preserve what remained of their fleets. Others, driven by pride or stubbornness, prepared for continued engagement. Fear and hope collided violently, leaving the Council paralyzed. Trask allowed the humans to maintain a defensive posture, showing strength without unnecessary aggression. The lesson was clear. Humanity did not need to strike to dominate. The threat itself was enough, and then an unexpected move. A small Coalition faction betrayed the plan, refusing to engage. Their ships disengaged, retreating silently. The remaining forces faltered, confusion spreading further. Humanity's psychological advantage had reached its peak. The Council's last stand was crumbling under the weight of its own mistrust and fear. In the Council chamber, Velnar's voice trembled. We are losing control. Humanity has outmaneuvered us in every way. Not just militarily, but strategically. Their calm, their foresight. It overwhelms us." Trask observed the scene from her flagship, satisfied. Humanity had not needed to unleash the full power of their weapon. Control had been asserted through intelligence, strategy, and careful manipulation. The Council had learned that the humans were no longer negotiators. They were forces of inevitability. As the last Coalition ships retreated, Trask allowed herself a brief smile. The Council had been broken, Not by destruction alone, but by fear, doubt, and the careful orchestration of tension. Humanity had proven that calculated patience was as deadly as any cannon or missile, and in the quiet aftermath, the hidden weapon hummed softly, waiting. Its energy radiated silently through the docking bay, a reminder that humanity's first strike was not even necessary. The Council had already felt the full weight of human resolve. Velnar, exhausted and defeated, addressed the remaining delegates. The humans, they have won this round. We must reconsider our position, perhaps. Perhaps negotiation under their terms is the only path left. Trask knew the Council had learned their lesson. Humanity had not only survived, they had asserted dominance without shedding unnecessary blood. The galaxy had been reminded that hesitation, fear, and internal betrayal could be as dangerous as any fleet or weapon. And somewhere in the shadows of space, the humans prepared for the final stage of their plan. Calculated, unstoppable, and patient, the Council had survived, barely. But the lesson had been etched into every mind. Humanity would no longer wait for permission. The Council station was quiet now, but the silence was heavy. The echoes of debates, alarms, and fleet movements had faded, leaving a tense stillness. Humanity had demonstrated its power, its precision, and its resolve. The Council survived, but it was a shadow of its former unity. Fear and uncertainty hung over every delegate. Speaker Velnar sat heavily in his seat, 4 eyes scanning the chamber. We have survived, he said quietly. But at what cost? Our authority. Our influence. They have been shattered. Around him, alien delegates whispered nervously. Some questioned the loyalty of their own factions. Others feared open retaliation, knowing humanity had the advantage. The balance of power in the galaxy had shifted, and everyone felt it. Admiral Trask, aboard her flagship, observed quietly. Humanity had achieved its goal. Diplomacy had failed, and the Council had learned that hesitation and weakness could not challenge human resolve. Yet Trask knew this was only the beginning. The Council had been broken, but they would rebuild, and humans had to remain vigilant. In the Council chambers, discussions began cautiously. Some factions suggested immediate surrender, offering resources and alliances to secure peace. Others proposed cautious cooperation, hoping to rebuild trust and maintain what remained of their influence. But no one dared speak of retaliation. Humanity had proven that even a single misstep could be disastrous. A small group of humans, hidden among the shadows of the docking bay, monitored the Council's every movement. They are frightened but not defeated, one aide noted. Trask nodded. Fear is useful, but we must prepare for the next phase. The Council will recover. We need to ensure that when they do, humanity remains untouchable. Meanwhile, a Council aide discovered a secret message left behind by one of the human factions. It read, "Observe, learn. Humanity will act when necessary." Patience is power, the aide shivered. Humanity had taught a lesson not through destruction alone, but through the calculated orchestration of fear, strategy, and restraint. As the Council regrouped, alliances shifted once more. Some factions betrayed others, seeking favor with humans. Others retreated, wary of further confrontation. Every action was colored by suspicion. Humanity's influence had created a ripple effect that would shape politics, fleets, and decisions for decades to come. Back on the human flagship, Trask reviewed reports from all fronts. The first strike had been a warning, the second a test of Council coordination. Humanity had acted with precision, ensuring no unnecessary casualties but demonstrating undeniable power. Every move had been deliberate, every outcome carefully observed. In a distant sector unknown to the Council, human spies transmitted encrypted messages to colonies across the galaxy. Prepare. The next phase begins when the Council forgets the lessons of today. The Council delegates realized, too late, that humanity had not only survived, they had taught a lesson that would echo for generations. Fear, strategy, and patience had become humanity's weapons, and the galaxy would think twice before challenging them again. Trask allowed herself a brief smile. Humanity had won more than a tactical victory. They had achieved psychological dominance. The Council had survived, but its unity was gone, its confidence shaken, and its future uncertain. And as the stars twinkled silently above the station, A single message appeared on a hidden console in the docking bay. Peace is fragile, and humanity has other plans. The galaxy would remember this day forever. Humanity had turned its back on diplomacy, shattered the council, and shown that waiting was no longer an option. But the true question remained: what would humanity do next? No one could answer. Not the council, not their fleets, not even the spies who watched from afar. The humans had disappeared into the shadows of space, leaving uncertainty in their wake, and a single undeniable truth: the galaxy had been warned, but it was only the beginning. Even as calm returned to the council chambers, whispers of fear continued. Delegates plotted, betrayed, and doubted. Alliances had shifted irreversibly. Every decision, every strategy, every future council vote would now be influenced by the memory of humanity's arrival, its first strike, and its calculated restraint. The aftermath had settled, but suspense lingered. Humanity's next move remained hidden, an enigma that no one could predict. The galaxy had seen only a glimpse of their power. The rest, the true potential of humanity, remained unseen, waiting for the perfect moment to reshape the stars once more. And in that quiet darkness, the council understood one last terrifying fact. They had survived today, but tomorrow they might not.